Flying through the trees, swimming through the sea. We're having some fun. We're taking the plunge.
Welcome back, travel enthusiasts. It is your host again, Jessica Ruxton, and today I am here with two very special people to me, Ashley Lehman
Hi.
and Tom Pagliarella.
Hello.
And today we will be talking about going abroad, studying abroad. And Ashley and Tom did that together. So do you guys just want to just introduce yourselves and say what you do at the university? And
Sure. I'm Ashley Lehman. I did a master's program at the University of Windsor that was a 2-year program, and it was between the University of Windsor and the Politecnico di Torino in Italy. So we did 1 year first at the University of Windsor, taking a few courses and working on our thesis with Chrysler. And then we went over to the Politecnico di Torino for a year, and we continued working on the same project over at Fiat in Torino.
And you're both mechanical engineers from the University of Windsor.
Yeah.
Right.
So why did you decide to go with this program as opposed to a different master's program?
Well, I really wanted to be able to see some other parts of the world. I've never been out of North America before this program. And also, I really wanted to go into the automotive field, so I thought it was a great opportunity to work because you'll be working on a thesis directly with Chrysler. And I just saw the opportunity to go see different countries in Europe.
I felt the exact same way. Like, for me, it was mostly about the travel.
Yeah.
Because, like, the opportunity to go with your girlfriend for a year while you're still in school, you don't have too many responsibilities, is just, like, hard to come by. So, the fact
Right,
that
if you're going to be studying, you might as well do it in a really cool city, right?
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. And they were giving us a scholarship to do so.
Oh, wow, congratulations.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you said it was a 2-year program. Did you do your first year in Windsor?
In Windsor, yeah.
And then you went to Italy? Now, when you did your first year, you worked with some Italian students, right?
Right, so it was an exchange program. So 6 Italians came over to Windsor in the first year. And so we got to hang out with them a lot. They rented a house near the University of Windsor. And we ended up spending a lot of time with them because they didn't know the way things worked in Canada. They didn't know where to get groceries, stuff like that. And it was really great because when we went over to Torino, they helped us the same way, like finding our way around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and they were actually genuinely good people. Like, we enjoyed hanging out with them, so that helped a lot.
Yeah, so this is a really good program to have, exchange students come to Windsor and then you go to where they're from and you kind of have like automatic friends and automatic tour guides.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
that's awesome. So is that like something specifically that like the program offers? Or was it just like you just got lucky and these students were coming to Windsor as well?
I think we just got lucky. Like, we could have never met them. It wasn't like they introduced us and were like, these are the students who are coming. But we saw them like in one of our classes and we realized we're in the same program because they were Italian.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ended up hanging out with them a lot just because they had a lot of questions. They didn't know where to go, so it worked out really well.
Yeah, and they were mechanical engineer students as well, right?
Right.
Yeah, and getting their masters. That's sweet. Was it up to you when you got to Italy? Did you have to like find your own place to stay and get settled, or was that kind of part of the program?
Part of the program, what they recommended that you stayed in residence because it's just a lot easier and you'd be with different students who also speak English.
Right, that makes sense.
But we were like, we kind of want to be more into the Italian culture and get a different type of experience than we would if we were here. So we decided to rent our own apartment, just the 3 of us that were in the program. And I think that it was a really good decision because we ended up being really immersed in the Italian culture and we got to like eat at the market, and our neighbors were all Italians who were really nice to us and invited us for dinner and stuff like that. Whereas if we were in the residence, we probably would have just spoke English all the time and hung out with
Right.
different English-speaking students.
So did you know any Italian going over?
We took we took a class at the Chicharo Club, but it was very basic, just numbers.
The Chicharo Club in Windsor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we really overestimated how much Italian we knew going to Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I thought that I knew a little more Italian than I knew, and I thought that they spoke a lot more English than they do.
I think that's kind of like a common misconception for people who speak English. You just kind of assume that everybody else does.
Yeah, if you're going to a country that, English isn't their first language, they're probably not going to speak English. Maybe at the university, a few people will be able to speak English pretty well, but outside of the university, day-to-day life, going to the market, going to the grocery store, they speak their language.
Right.
English,
so then how did you communicate?
It was hard.
The beginning was really hard.
But we were really lucky because we had those Italian students who were there to help us.
Did they live in the city that you went to school?
Most of them did. There was 4 out of the 6 of them lived in Torino, and the other 2 were down south, but they were working at Fiat in Torino, so they were pretty close.
You mentioned that there was 3 people in the program. You had another roommate. Did he speak Italian, or was he Italian, or?
His background is Italian, and he had been learning it just like coincidentally for 3 years. So he could pretty much hold a conversation in Italian, and that helped a lot. And especially dealing with our landlord, sending emails and stuff like that. He was a big help.
That's lucky then.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the other student, he was Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he also from Windsor, or?
He's from the University of Western.
Western University.
Or Western University.
Oh, okay. So then this is not just a University of Windsor only thing. This is for students in Ontario wanting to go abroad for their master's program.
Oh, it started as just a University of Windsor program, but I think they didn't find enough students that they wanted, so they started expanding the program to other universities.
I think it wasn't just that. It was also about, there was interest from other universities in this program. And it was kind of well, why is the University of Windsor the only one that gets to take part in this, right? So they started considering other options, and now they're expanding to other universities. But I still think that, of all the students that have gone into this program, I think only one has been from a university other than the University of Windsor.
Oh wow! So University of Windsor is pretty lucky in that sense that they have that program for the students to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you were in Italy, did you get to do any other travel? Because I know, Italy's big on its own, but did you get to see other countries in Europe while you were there?
The travel was a huge part of what we wanted to do, so we decided to save up all of our money in the first year. And then when we went there, pretty much every weekend we were going somewhere.
Yeah, that's a good thing about, going abroad, because you will have those weekends off, which you can use to travel.
Yeah, and the way that their school was set up, it was you do all of your work during the week, and then you don't get any homework for the weekend, so we were really lucky.
That's nice. That is awesome, actually. Yeah. So then where did you guys go?
We went to London, we went to Dublin, Ireland, we went to Greece, we went to Barcelona.
France.
Yeah.
And then all through Italy.
That's actually really impressive. That's way all over Europe.
Yeah. We got to go to St. Patrick's Day.
In Ireland?
Yeah.
That's
so that was
awesome.
really cool.
That's sweet. So what did you guys do there for St. Patrick's Day? Was it insane? Street parties and stuff?
They had the parade going on, so we went to that at noon. And then it was just people drinking all day long.
I have a friend right now who's going to the university in Ireland, in Dublin. So I got to see him too, and we got to spend time with each other. And he had a bunch of friends who were Irish who were there, so we got to hang out with them and go to a house party with some authentic Irish people, and it was awesome.
That's
and
another cool thing about going abroad is that you make friends in other countries, and then you have those contacts where it's if you are in Italy and you have friends that are from Italy, you're in that Italian lifestyle, actually Italian lifestyle.
Exactly, yeah. And like Ashley was saying, we went to Barcelona, and the reason we went to Barcelona was to see a friend of ours who we had met in Torino, and he had graduated from the university in the first 4 months we were there, and he went back home to Barcelona, and we went to visit him. So he showed us all around the city, all the tourist attractions, but also things that he knew about that we would have never known. There's bunkers underneath the city from when the city was being bombed, hundreds of years ago that he showed us that like
That's
everyone else
amazing.
who's been there has not seen that. So
Right.
stuff like that was really cool.
And then like making those friends in those other countries, if you ever want to go back, you kind of always have a place to stay,
Absolutely.
which is nice.
Yeah, it's awesome.
When you were traveling like on the weekends and stuff, how did you get around? Did you fly, trains?
A little bit of both. We did like train, I think, to Paris, and then the rest we pretty much flew. We took Ryanair because it was like discount flights.
But there's also like there's hidden fees and stuff like that, so you have to make sure.
Of course. There's always something, like if it's too good to be true, it normally is.
If you follow all the rules and you know all the rules, then you'll be fine. But we had to pay, I think it was 35 euros each to get our boarding passes printed because we hadn't printed them off in advance.
And my phone wasn't working, so I couldn't show them on my phone.
That's so sneaky of them.
Yeah. So
I was so mad.
So as long as you're like well prepared, then you should be okay.
Yeah.
Like I've heard that before too, like, you know, with airlines that the flight itself is so cheap, but that's because, you know, you have to pay for carry-on or you know, you have to...
You don't get a free drink on the plane.
Yeah, all those perks are kind of just taken away, all those extras. But I mean, if you're just looking to fly from one country to another, it's totally worth it.
Yeah, and when you're a student, like we don't have a ton of money, so we were trying to pinch pennies and find the deals when we could, so that was...
So then when you went to those, when you were traveling on the weekends and stuff, if you weren't staying with a friend, where were you staying?
We would find hotels off of Hotwire.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
So Hotwire is you kind of book it and then they tell you after you pay.
Yeah, you don't know where you're staying, but they'll say like it has a pool or it has free breakfast, which we always looked for.
Yeah.
We would go on hotels.com and try and find all the hotels that were in that certain area that were the same star rating and try and compare and see if we could figure out like, it's going to be one of these two hotels that we're going to be staying in. So, but it was good for us. Like we know the other guy who went with us, the other student who went with us to Italy, he stayed in, I think, a few times with Airbnb. He did Airbnb, and he really liked it. For us, though, because we're like a couple and we're in, you know, traveling in a bunch of different countries, like I was kind of nervous to stay in a hostel or do Airbnb.
It's nice though if you're traveling on your own to kind of stay in a hostel because there's normally other travelers who are your age.
Definitely.
So you can kind of make friends. But I mean, if you are a couple, you just kind of want to travel on your own.
Yeah.
A hotel is a good option.
Exactly.
And that's like a good thing to look for too. Like when you're looking at a hotel, if they have free breakfast.
Oh yeah.
Huge. Love the free breakfast.
Makes the whole day better.
Yeah.
So then you stayed in Italy for a year. Did you get like breaks from school? What do they offer you like that within the program?
The first 6 months we were taking courses, and pretty much not working on our thesis, so just focused on the coursework. So since we had no homework, we had the weekends off to go travel. So that was really good. And then once we started working on our thesis, we started going to Fiat every day. So we had less time to travel, which was kind of unfortunate. But then in Italy, they take the whole month of August off. So we left that month open, and then that's when we went to Greece, which was our biggest trip. We went there for a full week.
Yeah.
And it was like the best
Where
trip
in Greece did you go?
We did Santorini and Mykonos, the two islands, and then we ended in Athens. So it was like...
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was amazing.
Was that your favorite place that you guys went to?
Definitely. Yeah. It was so beautiful.
Yeah, and Athens was really cheap. Like really, really cheap.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because it's so touristy, or you would think it would be more expensive then?
Yeah.
I think their economy is pretty bad right now.
Oh.
So
and the food was amazing.
Yeah.
Like the Greek salad was unreal.
Actually from Greece.
Mm-hmm.
An authentic Greek salad. It's amazing.
And they don't put lettuce in Greek salads.
What?
In Greece? No. Like
what is in
lettuce.
it?
Like peppers and olives and
tomato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and
interesting.
Feta. Yeah, but they don't have any.
No lettuce in a Greek salad.
Yeah.
Well, I never knew that actually. I've never been to Greece, so I wouldn't have known. So then, when you also went to Santorini and to Mykonos, which did you prefer between those two, and why?
I liked Santorini better because it was more of like a scenic, like relaxing, It has a Moody Bay, which is from the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Okay.
Just beautiful, beautiful
Yeah.
island. Mykonos is more like for people who want to party. Like,
Oh, okay.
after a certain time, all of the beaches become like a nightclub. So
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. A beach nightclub. That's
Yeah,
sweet.
it was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
it's a lot more expensive too. Like all the drinks, you have to pay like probably like €6 or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So then, like, the main difference between them is Santorini's more relaxing, while Mykonos is more party.
Right. Yeah, I think the views were nicer in Santorini too.
Yeah.
We were able to, like, we rented ATVs while we were in Santorini, and we were able to just, like, kind of go on the streets and travel through the whole island
Yeah.
on ATVs, which was awesome. And then just stop off at a beach and hop off our ATV and go swimming and then come back. So, like, it was so cool. And they have a lot of unique beaches in Santorini, which you don't see, like a red sand beach
Wow.
and black sand beach, and it was really, really cool there.
For your exchange, what would you say was the hardest part for it?
I think the language barrier was the hardest part. Just
Yeah.
setting up internet, like discussing matters with our landlord, trying to figure out how much we owe, what bills we
Right.
have to pay. Like, it gets complicated.
So then what would you do different?
I would have spent more time ahead of going learning the language. Definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah. Did you end up getting like a translator dictionary or anything, or did you just kind of learn as you went?
I got an app on my phone that would help me like in the grocery store and stuff like that, but it doesn't work when you're on the fly, like trying to understand what someone's saying.
Right.
We ended up having to take, like, an Italian course while we were in Italy and passing it as part of their university's program.
Mm-hmm.
So we learned a lot there, but also just, like, day to day going grocery shopping. Like, we ended up learning the terms for all the fruits and vegetables and, like, how to ask for them and how much. Like, we ended up learning a lot more Italian just by living in Italy.
Yeah.
And kind of being forced to learn it.
Right. So you would recommend this program then?
Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I feel like traveling, and especially when you're young, you learn so much about yourself. What would you say that you really got from this experience? Do you think that, you learn more about yourself, or you kind of grew as a person, you found some independence, or?
I think that going into this program gave me a lot more confidence that if I wanted to go and do something on my own, like, I would be able to figure it out. Like, maybe before I thought I'd have to rely on my parents, or I'd be more nervous, like, going to travel to a different country. But now that I've done it and I've gone to many different countries, I have that confidence now.
One thing that I realized was that, like, I really am happy here.
Yeah.
As much as I loved my experience in Italy, I did miss home. I missed family and just spending time with the people who I had spent time with,
Right.
And so, like, when you're here your whole life, you think, like, is it greener on the other side? I ended up realizing, no, I really do like it here, and
Yeah,
enjoy
you
my
kind
life.
of appreciate
Yeah.
where you come from, and, like, it's nice to travel, but it's nice to come home as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that about wraps it up. Thank you so much, Ashley and Tom.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Of course. And so if you are looking into going abroad for your master's program and you are in engineering, what's the name of the program again?
It's a joint master's degree program between the University of Windsor and the Politecnico di Torino.
So if you are interested, check that out. Going abroad is a really enriching experience, and we will talk to you next week. Thanks for listening. Bye.